5, Appreciation, first chapter reading. Chapter 1. What is appreciation? Appreciation is one of the purest forms of love and connection. Gratitude is more for the past and a feeling, whereas appreciation is a conscious thought which multiplies from the past to the present and into the future. That's why you often hear people say they feel grateful versus appreciative for all those who had contributed in some way towards an achievement or to their success at a certain milestone or award ceremony. If you only see the value of appreciation in your own output, you are missing the ability to receive it in return. If you are unable to receive, you will be limiting your connection and growth. If someone extends an act of kindness towards you, you may instantly be thinking of how you can repay them in another way or what you can do in return. While those are very kind things to do, it's best to first pause fully in the feeling of receiving and allow the appreciation to bloom into gratitude in your heart and allow them that gift as well. Whether it's a physical gift, help in some way, or just their company, there is such an uplifting feeling to being in that space while it lasts, and to know that because of them, your world is brighter, safer, kinder, or more full of love, and they with you. Don't ever rush or push away those moments of recognition. They will become some of your most cherished memories, but you can only live in them once in present time. Appreciation is in the present. When people we love or pets are in our life, we see them as healthy and here because that is what they are in this moment. Yet at some point, they will not be in our lives. They may choose to leave or they may pass away. If you were given a list of how long you had left with each relationship, would you appreciate more the ones you will have for the shortest amounts of time? We do not know how much time we have. All we are guaranteed is this moment. Make sure everyone who is important to you knows it every single day. Lack of appreciation in the present will cause regret one day in the future about the past. You will look back and realize what or who you had at the time and wish you had appreciated them more while they were here in your life. Appreciation is the basis for holidays, but it's something that can and should be done every day. Think of each holiday and what it means. Then look around you and appreciate all the good that is in your life. Your family, friends, possessions, where you live. If you focus on what is good, more good will come. If you focus on what is lacking, soon more will be lacking. Anything that is focused on increases. So the more you appreciate what you have, the more you will have to appreciate. Appreciation turns lucky into fortunate. The word fortune has become associated specifically with a lot of money, but to be fortunate in part means to be lucky. Lucky, however, implies a fluke or something that just happens. Think of the statements, I'm a lucky person versus I'm a fortunate person. Begin to see how fortunate you are in life in all ways. From the chance meetings of people who became great friends, or your partner, or even your pets. And for things that didn't happen as well. We tend to see being in a car accident as really bad luck, being in the wrong place at the wrong time, thinking if only we had left 2 minutes earlier or 2 minutes later, we would have avoided that. That may be true, but then it's also true that whenever you go out in your car and arrive to your destination or back home at the end of the day, you were 2 minutes early or 2 minutes late to all the accidents that did not happen. So realistically, for most of your life, you are in the right place at the right time all the time. Although you can't see the accidents that never happened or the illnesses that were never caught, you can become conscious and appreciative of all the days when nothing happens. Those, in a sense, are your most fortunate days. Appreciation comes from within. Sometimes when you share something sad or difficult in your life with a person, their immediate response will be, well, if it makes you feel any better. And then they will tell you about someone else who had something really sad or difficult happen to them. Their intention is to try to show you other people have it worse and that your situation is bad but could be worse. The same goes for if they reply with, at least, and then they tell you one worse thing that could have happened. The thing is, 99% of the time, it really doesn't make you feel better at all. And it comes across as invalidating or almost shaming you for your own pain, as if you're not allowed to have any since you're not the worst off person in the world. Only that person is allowed to. Well, that's just silly. Intentions may be positive, but methods like this are flawed. If you yourself see how you are still okay and going to be better, or how you are actually fortunate that things aren't worse, that's one thing, and it can help. Keep it in mind, too, if someone shares their pain with you. They're often seeking a shoulder to lean on, and you can be that even if you don't have answers for them or can't make them feel better with some helpful advice. Often, just listening and being there is the best help you can give. To share pain with someone is to open up to them. To be validated means to be heard and understood. Those things in themselves are healing. Appreciation for the good deeds you do isn't a bad thing at all. There's been a wave of pushback on social media about not telling anyone about any good deeds you do. There are even memes that say if you tell people it's not about giving, it's about ego, or that you're only doing good things for a pat on the back. That may be true in some cases, but not always. George Michael and the artist formerly known as Prince gave millions to charities and never breathed a word about it. Stories and appreciation for their kindness and generosity came out after they passed. That does show their genuine goodness. But if a person has a nice idea to do something that is easy and helpful and posts about it on social media, that is good news. Good news is a good thing. It can make people who see it feel better about kindness in the world around them and be inspired to do the same. In around 2015, a trend started to pay for the person behind you in the drive-thru. This trend caught on, and more people posted expressing appreciation for the gift they received that day and how they returned the gift to the next person in line. Now, realistically, if everyone just paid for the person behind them, they're likely still paying the same amount that they would for their own order. But the spirit of the whole exchange is what makes it so special and beautiful. To receive from and to give to others displays kindness, a belief in abundance, and connection. Those are some of the most beautiful qualities of humanity. If you see or have a great idea on how to share or give, tell people about it. If anyone claims it's all about your ego or you're just looking for praise, that will tell you about that person. The karma law of mirrors says that people see action, not motivation. If someone sees your motivation as self-glorifying, that would be the only reason they would do something kind. It has nothing to do with you or your motives. And if someone says that was a great idea and how kind of you, receive that with acknowledgement of your good deed with appreciation. Imagine if social media were flooded with proof of humanity and kind deeds and good people being appreciated for the good that they do. What a different place it would be. Appreciating things that come to you easier is a skill that's beneficial to develop. Things that come easier are usually less appreciated because there was no or little investment of time, effort, or money. Things that took longer, cost more, or required more effort are often appreciated more. And if they don't live up to their perceived investment value, cause a lot more disappointment. To be able to discern is important. If it took you 5 years to build a log cabin from the ground, it took that long because it was a big project and required a lot of time and effort to be put in to put it all together. If you won the exact same cabin already put together, you may not actually appreciate it as much. But if it's a relationship and someone is immediately kind, loving, and good to you, you cannot apply the same logic. Otherwise, you'll push away good people like this for no reason and chase after people who cost more time, effort, and maybe money as well. Not everything requires a ton of work to be worthwhile. That good person who was kind and loving and you pushed away, you could have spent time, effort, and money together building a life full of great experiences and shared and supported creation. But instead, if you're chasing down someone who you are trying to win over, you haven't even reached ground zero from where you can begin to build. It may be attractive because it's a challenge, but that's really not the best way to seek out stable, long-term relationships. If you're not building on solid ground, the structure won't be very stable or solid. It could even be that if you actually do win them over, instead of feeling happily ever after, or like you've earned their love, you may resent them for putting you through all that and lose interest when the chase is over. Be conscious of why you're doing what you're doing and how you feel most of the time when you're around someone. If you feel uncertain even half the time, consider it a risky investment. And the problem may not even be them. You may not be in a place where you feel you deserve a good person. Being aware of what's driving your efforts can help you to see where change is needed in you. You can only begin to change once you see it. Appreciating honesty is easy when it's in agreement with your intention and expectations, but it's not as easy when it's not. For example, if you give someone a nice gift, maybe when you spent some money on or took time to create, and they tell you honestly that they don't like it, you probably feel disappointed. You gave them the gift with the intention of giving them something they would love, use, and appreciate. There's a disappointment in learning that they don't like it. But what you can appreciate is their honesty. Tell them you appreciate their honesty to encourage it again in the future. It's hard to be honest when you know it's going to disappoint someone, but people do value honesty more than half-hearted approval. Plus, if they tell you, you won't get them or make for them more of the same, but instead will be given the opportunity to make or get them something they do love, the purpose of the gift giving in the first place. We're often told as children to pretend we love any gift, or else we are ungrateful, and that's such a bad lesson to give to a child. If you ask anyone what they most want in a relationship, honesty is 99% of the time their first answer. Honesty is easy when it's agreement, but it's equally important when it's not. Now, a semi-exception to this may be your 99-year-old great-grandma spent 6 months knitting you a sweater, and gosh, it's hideous, but you really would break her heart if you told her how hideous it is. But instead of appreciation for the actual item, you can feel genuine appreciation for the fact that she, every day for 6 months, with arthritic fingers, thought of you and created that horrible thing, stitch by stitch, with you and your happiness in mind. Maybe you'll never wear it, except when you go to visit her, but every time you see it, you can know it is proof that you are loved and considered by a very special person. With those things in mind, you can honestly say, I love it. Appreciation is many things, most of which have the opportunity to occur every single day of your life. That was Chapter 1, Happiness in Your Life. Book 5, Appreciation. Available in links in the description in PDF and paperback, hardcover, Kindle. That's it. Thank you.